This page lists examples of the power in watts produced by various sources of energy. They are grouped by orders of magnitude, and each section covers 3 orders of magnitude, or a factor of 1000. Below 1 watt. Below 1 yoctowatt 1.64 times 10⁻27 watt, viz. Approximate power of gravitational radiation emitted by a 1000 kg satellite in geosynchronous orbit around the Earth. Yoctowatt zeptowatt tilde 10 ZW, Tech. Approximate power of Galileo space probe's radio signal as received on Earth by a 70-meter DSN antenna, a tau 1 or, viz. Approximate power scale at which operation of nanoelectromechanical systems are overwhelmed by thermal fluctuations, 100 or, Tech. The GPS signal strength measured at the surface of the Earth, femtowatt 2.5 FW, Tech. Minimum discernible signal at the antenna terminal of a good FM radio receiver, 10 FW, Tech. Approximate lower limit of power reception on digital spread spectrum cell phones, picowatt 1 PW, Biomed. Average power consumption of a human cell, 18.4 PW, viz. Power lost in the form of synchrotron radiation by a proton revolving in the Large Hadron Collider at 7000 GeV, 150 PW, Biomed. Power entering a human eye from a 100-watt lamp 1 km away, nanowatt 2 to 15 nanowatts, Tech. Power consumption of 8-bit PIC microcontroller chips when in sleep mode, microwatt 1 microwatt, Tech. Approximate consumption of a quartz or mechanical wristwatch, 3 microwatts, Astro. Cosmic microwave background radiation per square meter, milliwatt 5 milliwatts, Tech. Laser in a CD-ROM drive, 5 to 10 milliwatts, Tech. Laser in a DVD player, 70 milliwatts, Tech. Antenna power in a typical consumer wireless router, 500 milliwatts, Tech. Maximum allowed carrier output power of an FRS radio, between 1 and 1000 watts, Watt 2W, Tech. Maximum allowed carrier power output of a MERS radio, 4W, Tech. The power consumption of an incandescent night light, 4W, Tech. Maximum allowed carrier power output of a 10-meter CB radio, 8W, Tech. Human-powered equipment using a hand crank, 14W, Tech. The power consumption of a typical household compact fluorescent light bulb, 20 to 40W, Biomed. Approximate power consumption of the human brain, 30 to 40W, Tech. The power consumption of a typical household fluorescent tube light, 60W, Tech. The power consumption of a typical household incandescent light bulb, 100W, Biomed. Approximate basal metabolic rate of an adult human body, 120W, Tech. Electric power output of 1 square meter solar panel in full sunlight, at sea level, 130W, Tech. Peak power consumption of a Pentium 4 CPU, 200W, Tech. Stationary bicycle average power output, 290W units, approximately 1000 BTU hour, 300 to 400W, Tech. PC GPU NVIDIA GeForce Fermi 480 peak power consumption, 400W, Tech. Legal limit of power output of an amateur radio station in the United Kingdom, 500W, Biomed. Power output of a person working hard physically, 745.7W units, 1 horsepower, 750W, Astro. Approximately the amount of sunshine falling on a square meter of the Earth's surface at noon on a clear day in March for northern temperate latitudes, 909W, Biomed. Peak output power of a healthy human during a 30-second cycle sprint at 30.1 degrees Celsius, above 1000 watts, kilowatt 1 kilowatt to 3 kilowatts, Tech. Heat output of a domestic electric kettle, 1.1 kilowatts. Tech. Power of a microwave oven, 1.366 kilowatts. Astro. Power per square meter received from the Sun, the Earth's orbit, 1.5 kilowatts. Tech. Legal limit of power output of an amateur radio station in the United States, up to 2 kilowatts. Biomed. Approximate short-time power output of sprinting professional cyclists and weightlifters doing snatch lifts, 2.4 kilowatts. Geo. Average power consumption per person worldwide in 2008, 3.3–6.6 kilowatts. Eco. Average photosynthetic power output per square kilometer of ocean, 3.6 kilowatts. Tech. Synchrotron radiation power loss per ring in the Large Hadron Collider at 7,000 GeV, 10 kilowatts to 50 kilowatts. Tech. Nominal power of clear channel, AM, 10.0 kilowatts. Eco. Average power consumption per person in the United States in 2008, 16 to 32 kilowatts. Eco. Average photosynthetic power output per square kilometer of land, 30 kilowatts. Tech. Power generated by the 4 motors of Gen H-4 one-man helicopter, 40 kilowatts to 200 kilowatts. Tech. Approximate range of power output of typical automobiles, 50 kilowatts to 100 kilowatts. Tech. Highest allowed DRP for an FM band radio station in the United States, 167 kilowatts. Tech. Power consumption of UNIVAC-1 computer, 250 kilowatts to 800 kilowatts. Tech. Approximate range of power output of supercars, 450 kilowatts. Tech. Approximate maximum power output of a large 18-wheeler truck engine, megawatt, 1.3 megawatts. Tech. Power output of P-51 Mustang fighter aircraft, 1.5 megawatts. Tech. Peak power output of GE's standard wind turbine, 2.4 megawatts. Tech. Peak power output of a Princess Coronation class steam locomotive, 2.5 megawatts. Biomed. Peak power output of a Blue Whale, 3 megawatts. Tech. Mechanical power output of a diesel locomotive, 7 megawatts. Tech. Mechanical power output of a top fuel dragster, 10 megawatts. Tech. Highest DRP allowed for an UHF television station, 10.3 megawatts. Geo. Electrical power output of Togo, 12.2 megawatts. Tech. Approx power available to a Eurostar 20-carriage train, 16 megawatts. Tech. Rate at which a typical gasoline pump transfers chemical energy to a vehicle, 26 megawatts. Tech. Peak power output of the reactor of a Los Angeles-class nuclear submarine, 75 megawatts. Tech. Maximum power output of one GE-90 jet engine as installed on the Boeing 777, 140 megawatts. Tech. Average power consumption of a Boeing 747 passenger aircraft, 190 megawatts. Tech. Peak power output of a Nimitz-class aircraft carrier, 900 megawatts. Tech. Electric power output of a Candu nuclear reactor, 959 megawatts. Geo. Average electrical power consumption of Zimbabwe in 1998. The productive capacity of electrical generators operated by utility companies is often measured in MW. Few things can sustain the transfer or consumption of energy on this scale. Some of these events or entities include lightning strikes, naval craft, engineering hardware, and some scientific research equipment. For reference, about 10,100 watt light bulbs or 5,000 computer systems would be needed to draw 1 megawatt. Also, 1 megawatt is approximately 1360 horsepower. Modern high-power diesel-electric locomotives typically have a peak power of 3 to 5 megawatts, while a typical modern nuclear power plant produces on the order of 500 to 2,000 megawatts peak output. gigawatt 1.3 gigawatts. Tech. Electric power output of Manitoba Hydro Limestone Hydroelectric Generating Station, 2.074 gigawatts. Tech. Peak power generation of Hoover Dam, 2.1 gigawatts. Tech. Peak power generation of Aswan Dam, 4.116 gigawatts. Tech. Installed capacity of Kendall Power Station, the world's largest coal-fired power plant, 8.21 gigawatts. Tech. Capacity of the Kashiwazaki Kariwa Nuclear Power Plant, the world's largest nuclear power plant, 11.7 gigawatts. Tech. Power produced by the Space Shuttle in liftoff configuration, 12.6 gigawatts. Tech. Electrical power generation of the Itaipu Dam, 12.7 gigawatts. Geo. Average electrical power consumption of Norway in 1998, 18.3 gigawatts. Tech. Peak electrical power generation of the Three Gorges Dam, the world's largest hydroelectric power plant of any type, 22.4 gigawatts. Tech. Peak power of German solar panels, researched by the Fraunhofer ICE Research Institute in 2014, 55 gigawatts. Tech. Peak daily electrical power consumption of Great Britain in November 2008, 74 gigawatts. Tech. Total installed wind turbine capacity at end of 2006, 101.6 gigawatts. Tech. Peak electrical power consumption of France, 166 gigawatts. Tech. Average power consumption of the first stage of the Saturn V rocket, 700 gigawatts. Biomed. Humankind basal metabolic rate as of 2013, terawatt 2 terawatts. Astro. Approximate power generated between the surfaces of Jupiter and its moon Io due to Jupiter's tremendous magnetic field, 3.34 terawatts. Geo. Average total power consumption of the U.S. in 2005, 16 terawatts. Geo. Average total power consumption of the human world in 2010, 44 terawatts. Geo. Average total heat flux from Earth's interior, 75 terawatts. Eco. Global net primary production via photosynthesis, 50 to 200 terawatts. Weather. Rate of heat energy release by a hurricane, 290 terawatts. Tech. The power the Z machine reaches in 1/1000th of a second when it is fired, 300 terawatts. Tech. Power reached by the extremely high-power Hercules laser from the University of Michigan, petawatt 1.1 petawatts. Tech. World's most powerful laser pulses by laser still in operation, 4 by 1.00 petawatts. Tech. Omega EP laser power at the Laboratory for Laser Energetics. There are 4 separate beams that are combined, 1.25 petawatts. Tech. World's most powerful laser pulses, 1.4 petawatts. Geo. Estimated heat flux transported by the Gulf Stream, 4 petawatts. Geo. Estimated total heat flux transported by Earth's atmosphere and oceans away from the equator towards the poles, 10 to 100 petawatts. Geo. Estimated total power output of a Type 1 civilization on the Kardashev scale, 174.0 petawatts. Astro. Total power received by Earth from the Sun, 200 petawatts. Tech. Planned peak power of extreme light infrastructure laser, exawatt. In a keynote presentation, NIF and Photon Science Chief Technology Officer Chris Barty described the exawatt laser, an exawatt laser concept based on NIF technologies, on April 13 at the SPIE Optics Plus Optoelectronics 2015 conference in Prague. Barty also gave an invited talk on laser-based nuclear photonics at the SPIE meeting. Zettawatt 135 ZW, Astro. Approximate luminosity of Wolf 359. Yottawatt 33.8 YW, Tech. Peak power output of the Tsar bomber, the largest nuclear weapon ever built, 10,100 YW, GEO. Estimated total power output of a Type 2 civilization on the Kardashev scale, 384.6 YW. Astro. Luminosity of the Sun, greater than 1000 yatawatts, 3.31 times 1031 W. Astro. Approximate luminosity of Beta Centauri, 1.23 times 1032 W. Astro. Approximate luminosity of Deneb, 3.0768 1033 W. Astro. Approximate luminosity of R136A1, 5 times 1036 W. Astro. Approximate luminosity of the Milky Way galaxy, 1 times 1039 W. Astro. Average luminosity of a quasar, 1 times 1041 W. Astro. Approximate luminosity of the most luminous quasars in our universe, e.g., APM 08279 plus 5255 and HS 1946 plus 7658. 1 times 1042 W. Astro. Approximate luminosity of the local supercluster, 3 times 1042 W. Astro. Approximate luminosity of an average gamma-ray burst, 1 times 1045 W. Astro. Record for maximum beaming corrected intrinsic luminosity ever achieved by a gamma-ray burst, 2 times 1049 W. Astro. Approximate total luminosity of all the stars in the observable universe, 3.63 times 1052 W. Phys. The Planck power, the basic unit of power in the Planck units.